Hi, everyone. I'm Bianna Golodriga, and this is Yahoo News Live. Senator Ted Cruz's campaign thinks their new ad targeting Secretary Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server, calling it "Feels Pretty Good to Be Clinton," is pretty clever. But the artist behind the original song it remixes, "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangsta," is not amused. Willie D is the lead member of the Geto Boys, known for that hit and many more. He's joining us from Houston, Texas, my hometown. Willie D, great to see you.
Great to see you. I want to make a quick correction. I'm not the lead member of the Geto Boys. I'm just a member.
Just a member. Okay. Well, you're a lead to me. You're the one who I'm interviewing. So right now you're my lead.
I appreciate you.
I want to get your thoughts on that ad. Did you have any heads up that it was coming, or did you find out like the rest of us by watching it?
Somebody sent me a tag. So I found out just like everybody else. This guy didn't have the common decency to just reach out and say, "Hey, man, I know you don't like me. I know I'm the scum of the earth, but please, can I use your song? I'm going to do this parody, you know?"
You're talking about Senator Cruz.
Yeah, Senator Cruz. Yeah.
Well, the ad is a spoof on the movie Office Space, which incidentally was filmed in Texas as well, about disgruntled employees starting to bash a printer. In this case, it's Hillary Clinton bashing in a computer with all of her emails. I spoke with Senator Cruz's communications director last week, who said he's very proud of this ad and thinks it's quite effective and funny. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's blasphemy. I mean, our fans and the fans of Office Space, Mike Judge, they have an image of great art in their head. And when he put that ad out, it pretty much blemished that image. You know, now it's associated with some garbage. And some dude who runs his ideals run counter to what we believe in. You know, Geto Boys music, we represent the underserved, the underprivileged, the underrepresented, the underdog. And this guy is totally opposite of that. So, no, I mean, we wasn't impressed by it at all. I mean, it wasn't an honor for him to use our music.
So clearly you are not a fan of Senator Ted Cruz. One thing that the Cruz camp might not have read is the last verse of your original song, which criticizes a Republican president. What was the intent behind the origin of that song when you wrote it?
Well, the whole intent was to expose the wickedness and the corruption in government and in big business. It was to put it out there, let people know that we're hip to the game you're running. We understand that the drug trade in the U.S., specifically crack cocaine, started with law enforcement, those people who are representative of law enforcement in the U.S., and it was under Reagan's watch. You know, it was under a Republican watch. You know, if we didn't have that element, you wouldn't have, you know, all this mass incarceration going on. You wouldn't have all these, you know, the crack epidemic. You wouldn't have so many people out there strung out on crack. You wouldn't have all these broken families. You wouldn't have all this chaos going on in our communities. So what he did was basically try to throw a rock and hide his hands and say, "Hey, man, I ain't having nothing to do with it." You know, the whole idea is to create chaos and then go in and try to act like you're the hero. You know, that's what they did. That's basically what their motive is. That's their MO.
And Senator Cruz, if you ask him, his campaign is all about being anti-establishment, anti-Washington. That's why he says he doesn't have many friends in Washington. He speaks a lot about his own family struggle with addiction, his sister's addiction to drugs and her overdose. Did that resonate with you at all?
I mean, struggle resonates with me. Pain resonates with me. I know a lot of people who've been strung out on drugs. You know, that type of thing resonates with me. But Ted Cruz, I just don't even see how this guy could be emotional or empathetic toward anybody, because I just don't believe he's all the way human. I don't even think the dude has a heart. I think he's like what is that guy named, the Tin Man in that movie? You know, who was the guy that didn't have a heart? The Scarecrow or one of them? I don't know.
It was a Tin Man, yes.
It was a Tin Man. Okay, so yeah, I think he's the Tin Man.
Yeah.
I think he's the Tin Man. I don't think he has a heart. He's a aggrandizing, insufferable douchebag.
Did you know much about
Yeah.
him? You know, he lives in Houston. His home is in Houston. He's your state senator. Did you know much about him prior to announcing his campaign to run for president?
No, I didn't. I mean, I knew a little bit about him. I heard his name a couple times in circles, but not enough to just really pay attention to him because, I mean, actually nobody really pays attention to Ted Cruz. Like I said, he's a self-aggrandizing type of cat, you know, like even Donald Trump don't like him. Donald Trump said that Ted Cruz was not the type of person that people like. Nobody, he said, no, specifically, he said nobody likes him. Now, that says a lot for Donald Trump to say that somebody doesn't like somebody with all the people who don't like him. You know, that says a lot. So this guy is even less likable than Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
That says a lot.
Yeah, and Donald Trump also says that he may plan to sue him as well. There's a saying that there's no such thing as bad publicity. All press is good press. I'm sure you've heard it. You took to Facebook addressing this, saying, quote, "While I'm always humbled by any interest in music or the group's music, it's not so desperate for attention that I want my music to be associated with the devil's advocate." That's pretty harsh. If the senator is watching this right now, what would you like to say to him?
Yeah, you owe us an apology. You owe our fans an apology. Yeah, I want an apology, Ted. Yeah.
Simple as that. You want an apology.
Yeah.
Well, Willie D, we really appreciate. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that, you know, for people to say that the Ghetto Boys should be grateful that, you know, he's given us some attention, and some people were like, well, you know, I've never heard of you until he mentioned your name. The thing is that great music has its way of finding people. You know, the Ghetto Boys has been around for 3 decades now, and we've sold millions of records. So, you know, just because you haven't heard of an artist doesn't mean that artist, it doesn't limit that artist's significance or his impact, you know, on the rest of the world. So, you know, for somebody to say, well, you're relevant because he said something about you, he mentioned your name, that says, and I didn't know you, that says more about, you know, you than it does us. You know, Ghetto Boys, our legacy is secure on the strength of our extensive catalog and, you know, our loyal fan support. Yeah, so
you've got a lengthy.
So to say that we should be grateful for somebody basically taking a dump on our music, that's like saying that, I mean, imagine if somebody mugged you and then they told you, well, you should be happy you got mugged. At least people know who you are now.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
so yeah, we don't support that. Ghetto Boys, we don't support it. We don't endorse it. Our fans don't endorse it. And if anybody got a problem with it, you know where to find me.
Willie D, we know where to find you in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Always telling it like it is. Hard to believe that you guys have been around for 3 decades plus now. Keep it up. Congratulations on
sure.
on everything that you're doing, and thanks for speaking with us today.
Salute.
And thanks so much for watching, everyone. We appreciate it.